Okay, I'm going to give the two superintendents first. Let the two superintendents go first, if you don't mind. So, Superintendent of Haddon Township, followed by Superintendent of Lumberton.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank Chairman Sarlo, Senator Zwicker, members of the committee. I know it's been a very long day. Leadership's not easy. It's been a long day for us too. We've been here since about 9:30 this morning. We appreciate you hanging in here to hear what we have to say today. We're going to speak in support of bill number 3081 or any other bill that would restore and maximize state funding that was recently cut from our school district's state aid in our budget. In Haddon Township, we lost 8% of our total budget, $800,000. And the bill in its original form would have restored about $536,000 in those funds, which we would be very thankful for. But before I discuss the process and that I think those funds should be restored, I do want to point to the problem with the cycle, whether Haddon Township was on the receiving side of additional state aid or on the reduction side of less state aid. We have a serious problem with the timing of when school funds are distributed, and school administrators and school boards are forced to allocate funds, whether it's a surplus or reduction, and to put a budget together in less than 2 weeks' notice, which has to go to the county for approval. I'm hoping that part of this conversation will also deal with timing for future budgets that are not as restrictive. I'm also concerned about the rationale regarding why state aid was reduced in Haddon Township. And upon inquiry, we were informed that it was primarily due to rising income level of our residents. This took us by surprise. For years, we've been counseled and cautioned about enrollment and the importance of enrollment as it pertained to state funding. Our enrollment has been strong. The lack of our ability to access our residents' aggregate income from year to year is particularly problematic, because if the funding formula is going to insert a rate of change or a percentage of change in income that could swing our state aid so aggressively from one year to the next, we certainly must have the ability to know what the numbers are.
Just politely,
go ahead.
So your enrollment did not go down, but did you have some type of redevelopment? Was there any warehouses built?
No redevelopment.
That's interesting. There's no one development that you could point to that said, hey, this brought a lot of wealth into the community.
No, sir, not at all.
Interesting.
And in regards to additional income coming into the community, if our residents are making more money, it appears that the Department of Treasury used information from 2021, and we did contest that, and our appeal was denied. But the frustration from our end is that we have no mechanism to tax income. Our school budgets only tax property values. So whether our residents' salaries went up since 2021, they're still living in the same homes, and this is concerning for us. So in summary, my ask of the committee would be to consider restoring as much state aid as possible to Haddon Township and other districts that have been similarly affected. But most importantly, please, and I want to emphasize this as the highest priority, can you please do it in the most effortless way and the easiest path from a time efficiency standard moving forward? There's not a lot of time. We're losing teachers as we speak. There is a deadline of May 15th when all non-tenured teachers must be notified of their employment for the following year, and we're right against that timeline. I also do not believe that school districts should only have a 1-year opportunity to increase taxes by more than 2%. In the case of Haddon Township, we recently passed a bond referendum on March 12th, 2024, right before the state aid was reduced. For 1 year, my cohorts, my school board members, and myself stood in front of the residents of Haddon Township and told them that the reason why we needed this referendum to pass was because we were capped at 2%. And there was no scenario at that time where we would consider raising past the 2% cap, which was part of the influential reason why our residents supported our referendum so much. If this bill goes through as is, and we only have 1 year to increase the 2%, I'm going to be faced in a real catch-22, having to stand up back before my residents and saying, well, I know I told you this, but we're going to do that, or not taking advantage of the additional tax revenue that we can collect as part of the 2%, and therefore not maximizing personnel and programs for students. I thank you for your time. It's been a long day. Turn it over to my colleague, Dr. Murray.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Dr. Colleen Murray. I'm from Lumberton Township School District. I'm the superintendent. I'd like to thank Chair Sarlo and the committee for your work. All of you working together across party lines to make sure that you are restoring us. It's incredibly impactful. I know how difficult this work is from afar, if anything. I'm very proud to live in a democracy, and I'm seeing it. So I get to watch it happening, watch real results happen. So I'd like my comments are also to reiterate what Dr. Fisicaro said, as well to just reinforce that any steps that you can make towards full stabilization would be so greatly appreciated. The direct impact has been astronomical in our district. We did know this was coming. I took my job a couple of years ago, knowing full well I was coming up against the fiscal cliff. Somehow we got out of it last year. We only lost $100,000 last year. And then after the stabilization aid came through, it was only $30,000. So, we thought, well, they're seeing that our previously declining enrollment is increasing. We have, specific needs. We are to the point where we've cut everything you could possibly imagine, and really unhealthy things to cut. Some mental health, supports, safety and security supports, our interventionists. We had to have a lot of really hard conversations. I'd like to reiterate what Dr. Fisicaro said about, people are putting applications in nearby districts, and these are really highly qualified people who have formed strong, long-lasting relationships in our community, and they're going out and finding other jobs. So the faster that you can get this done, and the more efficiently, I agree, you can get this done. I can't tell you how grateful we are here in Lumberton. We're really hoping not to have to raise taxes. Our folks in Lumberton are experiencing that, the CPI is much higher than their salaries are increasing. Their property taxes, their property values are increasing faster than their salaries, so their taxes are going up already. So full stabilization is what I'm asking for. And again, thank you.